The patrolling of these waters happens every day of the year, and these Royal Navy sailors have two very specific missions: patrolling sovereign British Gibraltar territorial waters and escorting and protecting other Royal Navy vessels.
What we're out there really to do is to try and encourage good behaviour. For vessels owned by other governments entering British Gibraltar territorial waters, we're trying to make sure that they behave themselves, that they act in accordance with sort of international law inside our waters. So we're trying to deter bad behaviour, and in the instance of any bad behaviour, that will be challenged, and if necessary, we will ask those vessels to leave.
They use two patrol boats, HMS Scimitar and HMS Sabre, to keep watch over Gibraltar's coastline. So what are they like to work with?
She's quite old, they both are, but they're generally quite reliable. I think that's probably the best things about some of the old tech. If it goes wrong, it's quite easy to fix. But generally they're quite nimble, fairly fast off the line. They're not bad little boats.
But not as fast as the ribs they also use, which zip around the rock. Tensions over territorial waters have previously erupted between Britain and Spain and Gibraltar. The Royal Navy patrols here every day, covering an area of around 3 miles out to sea. But that boundary is sometimes ignored. How many incursions are we talking about then on a perhaps weekly or monthly basis?
I mean, the number goes up and down. There could be months when there are 50, less than 50 or more. So it really depends on the month. There are some which are more serious when they try to exert jurisdiction in our waters.
You are in British Gibraltar territorial waters. You are violating the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, Article 19, governing the right of innocent passage. You are to cease your current actions and leave British Gibraltar territorial waters immediately.
The reality is because they take this view, which has no basis in law, that the waters are Spanish, they tend to behave in the waters as if they belong to them. And the UK and Gibraltar are very careful to challenge each and every one of those incursions, both physically on the water and also with diplomatic notes and protests afterwards.
So how do the Royal Navy respond when there is an illegal incursion by another nation?
If they, like I say, commit any activity that we don't consider to be sort of in keeping with international law, as I've said, they'll be challenged and asked to leave. My units will be there on the water, and they'll escort them out of British Gibraltar territorial waters, and then all of those such instances then get reported back to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office.
We are literally attached to Spain. We share a land border with Spain here, and the waters around Gibraltar will clearly be transited. You know, Spanish vessels will go through those waters. The majority of the time, that's perfectly acceptable and normal in international law. And don't forget that we do the same, the Royal Navy does the same elsewhere in the world. It is the right of innocent passage. Occasionally, a Spanish state vessel or another nation's vessel may act inappropriately inside of British Gibraltar territorial waters, may not act in accordance with international law. And at that point, the Royal Navy Gibraltar Squadron will be out there and we'll be monitoring it, and it's for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and others to then decide what they want to do with that data.
Britain's ruled Gibraltar since 1713, but Spain seems unlikely to give up its sovereignty claim anytime soon. A dispute that seems set to keep the Navy busy here for some time to come. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.